Hello and welcome to part 6 of my home gym and climbing wall build. In this video we'll be looking at putting the external structure on, that is the OSB sheathing and the cladding. Now on this particular one I used 9mm OSB sheathing. It didn't have to be particularly heavy duty, all the structural support was done internally, but it needed to be something just to protect the outside of the sound insulation. I then also put on some weatherproof wrap around, breathable weatherproof wrap, weatherproof membrane around the outside. I didn't unfortunately get a video of that, but in the next little clip coming up in a few seconds you'll see that it is on. I overlapped the door and the frame with the OSB boarding and then used a router to go around the edges to get that flush to the framework. I'm also putting on 75 by 75mm posts on the corners to create a bit of detailing, something to butt the cladding up against. The sections of cladding that I used were 4.8 meters long, but the overall length of the outbuilding was 8.2 meters, I think, off the top of my head. So it meant that I had to do a little bit of design of where I'm going to cut the lengths of board to get them to fit, etc., etc. But I did manage to do it reasonably well. I didn't have a huge amount of wastage, which was fortunate. But there are joins, and where those joins are, I put some extra strips of wood to make it that it was deliberately joined there rather than sort of just butting them up against each other. These videos were actually taken over a couple of days worth and sped up a little bit faster than normal. It would have been a little bit boring watching 16 minutes worth of cladding going on, so you only get a little over 7 minutes worth of this. It took quite a long time doing it again all by myself. A little bit awkward in places, but I started the cladding from the bottom and working up. I used overlap cladding, so not tongue and groove. Quite some substantial cladding, actually. The cladding was 22mm thick, much thicker than your normal cladding that you might find that might only be sort of 12 or 18mm thick. Again, I got it direct from the sawmill where I got the rest of the wood from, and that made it a little bit more cost effective to do the cladding. I mean, I think it cost me something like £900 to clad the whole structure, and a lot of places where I was looking would have been around about £2,000, but this was much more cost effective. Now at the bottom edge of the structure I used again some fence posts that I cut diagonally down the length of the wood to create sort of like a drip edge, which went all the way around the base of the cladding, and that meant that any rain that was going to be hitting the cladding and running down would then hopefully drip off at the bottom of that. I also made sure that there was a sufficient air gap behind the cladding. What I didn't want was any water that might gather behind it from rain or anything like that, and I did use some mesh at the tops and the bottoms to prevent any insects or anything like that getting in and underneath and behind the cladding. And also at the top on the roof section, I made sure that that 50mm air gap was around the perimeter of the front and the back. Now you might have noticed that in these videos the roof is also now finished, so the edge of the roof, the trim, is all on and looking good. I did it all in anthracite. The roofing membrane is all glued down, etc., etc. I didn't get any videos of doing the detailing around the roof, but I used some UPVC, got it online, ordered it. Again, very, very good prices, much better than I could find locally. but yeah, I think it looks quite good. The cladding itself was a larch cladding. There was quite a choice of different styles of cladding. This is tannalized, pressure treated and tannalized, so it doesn't need any extra preservatives on it. I don't need to oil it or treat it. I can if I want to, but it doesn't need it. It should naturally silver over time. I wanted something that was fairly low maintenance, so this was it. There were other choices such as redwoods and other sort of hardwoods, but the price of those went up quite dramatically. And again, I was working to a reasonable budget here. All in all, the budget cost that I had for the build initially was £12,000. And that is excluding labour costs because I did it all myself. So this is just material costs, and that includes the concrete base and the reinforcement, the concrete blocks, the wood, all the internal finishings, the electrics, etc., etc. And I came in at around about 14,000. During the pandemic, the prices of wood and materials increased quite significantly, so I had to find alternative suppliers to try and keep within the budget, but it did go just above my initial budget anyway. But I was quite pleased with what it did come in at. A lot of places, if you buy prefabbed gym buildings or summer houses, you're looking at 15, 20, 25,000 and fully kitted out up to 30, 35,000 pounds. So I felt like I made quite a bit of a saving. Now, I may not have necessarily done it as well as a dedicated tradesperson, and it might have taken me a lot longer, but I know how it's built, I know how it's constructed, and if there were any problems, I would know where they might be, where to fix them, etc., etc. Now, you might notice on the back of the gym, the guttering is up. I have put in a IBC water butt, 1 cubic metre water butt at the back for rainwater harvesting, and I've also created an overflow drain as well. It's quite a large surface area of roof, so the water butt fills up reasonably quickly. I do have a pond, so I use the water butt for filling up the pond. Very, very useful. But do join me again for my next video. The next video we're now working on the inside, but do like and subscribe to get further updates, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks very much.